Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When was the last time you felt behind? Maybe you were at a wedding and your college friend casually mentioned buying their second rental property. Or you opened Instagram and saw someone your age standing in front of a BMW with the caption, "Blessed." And for just a second, you felt that knot in your stomach. Here's what nobody tells you. That feeling? It's a lie sold to you by people who are drowning in debt. Today, I'm going to show you the actual math behind wealth in America. And I promise, once you see these numbers, you'll never look at money the same way again. Let's start with a reality check. The median household in America makes about $83,000 a year. That means half the country makes less than that. If your household pulls in $90,000, you're already doing better than most people you'll ever meet. But here's where it gets interesting. To crack the top 10% by income, you need to make around $251,000 a year. Sounds like a dream, right? But here's the part that'll blow your mind. I know people making $300,000 a year who are living paycheck to paycheck. How is that possible? Because they're confusing income with wealth, and that confusion is bankrupting the middle class. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Let me paint you two pictures. Person A makes $80,000 a year. They drive a 2015 Honda Civic. They live in a modest apartment. Every month, $1,200 goes straight into index funds. No one would ever call them rich. Person B makes $250,000 a year. They lease a Mercedes. They live in a house with a $4,500 mortgage. They take 2 international trips a year and post every moment online. Everyone assumes they're crushing it. Now here's the twist. In 20 years, Person A will be a multi-millionaire. Person B will still be making car payments. Because wealth isn't about the zeros on your paycheck. It's about the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Net worth is the only scoreboard that matters. It's everything you own minus everything you owe. And that's where the real rankings begin. So let's talk about the real leaderboard. The top 10%. To join this group, your household needs a net worth of about $1.8 million. Now, before you think that's impossible, hear me out. This isn't private jet money. This is your house is paid off, you've got a solid 401k, and you sleep well at night money. At this level, your money starts working for you instead of the other way around. The top 5%. This tier starts around $2.7 million. Here, financial stress becomes a distant memory. You're not worrying about the grocery bill or whether you can afford to fix the car. You've built a machine that runs itself. The top 1%. To get here, you need at least $11.6 million in net worth. At this altitude, money stops being about things and starts being about legacy. It's generational. It's freedom that echoes through your family tree. Now, here's what most people miss. The gap between the top 10% and the top 1% is massive. You don't accidentally stumble into the top 1%, but the top 10%, that's achievable for way more people than you think. And it starts with something shockingly small. The most important number in your financial life isn't $1 million. It's $10,000. Let me explain. When you have less than $10,000 in savings, every emergency is a crisis. Your car breaks down, panic. Your kid needs braces, stress. Your fridge dies, credit card debt. You're constantly in defensive mode, scrambling, reacting, surviving. But when you hit that 10,000 mark, suddenly emergencies become inconveniences. Annoying? Sure, but not life-altering. Scientists actually study this. They found that having a small emergency fund lowers your cortisol levels. That's the stress hormone. It literally makes you healthier. But more than that, it gives you options. You can negotiate a better salary because you're not desperate. You can leave a toxic job because you have a runway. You can invest in yourself because you're not drowning. $10,000 is the line between surviving and building. And once you cross it, everything changes. Now, let me tell you something the actually wealthy don't advertise. The people in the top 10%, you would never know it. They're not pulling up in Lamborghinis. They're driving 10-year-old Toyotas with 150,000 miles. They're shopping at Costco. They're wearing the same jeans they bought 5 years ago. This is called stealth wealth. Why do they do this? Because they figured out the secret. A Rolex doesn't make you rich. It makes you look rich while keeping you poor. Real wealth is quiet. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing your investments are compounding while you sleep. It's having FU money that you never actually have to use. The loudest wealth is usually the fakest wealth. Think about it. If someone's constantly posting their luxury vacation or their designer bags, ask yourself, are they celebrating their wealth or performing it? Because the guy who's retiring at 50 with $3 million in the bank, he's not posting about it. He's too busy living it. Okay, so how do you actually move up? Let's break it down by where you are right now. If you're starting from zero, forget the top 1%. Forget even the top 10%. Your only mission is this. Build a $1,000 emergency fund. Just $1,000. Sell something. Pick up a side gig. Do whatever it takes. This is your foundation. Kill high-interest debt. Credit cards at 24% interest are financial cancer. Attack them with everything you've got. Get to $10,000. This is your launch pad. Every dollar you save here is buying you freedom. If you're already comfortable, stop falling for lifestyle inflation. Every time you get a raise, your brain whispers, you deserve a nicer car, you deserve a bigger house. No, what you deserve is freedom, and freedom comes from widening the gap between your income and your expenses. Automate your savings, invest the surplus, let compound interest become your best employee. The person making $100,000 who invests $30,000 will retire wealthier than the person making $500,000 who spends $510,000. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Here's the brutal truth most people never accept. You're not broke because you don't earn enough. You're broke because you're funding someone else's wealth. Every time you finance a car, you're making a bank rich. Every time you carry a credit card balance, you're making a lender rich. Every time you buy something to impress people who don't care, you're making a corporation rich. But what if you flipped the script? What if you became the bank? What if you became the investor? What if you started treating your money like a well-trained army with a clear mission? Because that's what wealthy people do. They don't see dollars, they see soldiers. Every dollar has a job: grow, protect, multiply. Poverty is expensive. Wealth is strategic. And the best part? You get to choose which side you're on. Look, I'm not saying it's easy. Building wealth never is. But I am saying it's simpler than you think. You don't need to win the lottery. You don't need to start the next Facebook. You don't need a trust fund or a six-figure salary. You just need to stop playing the game everyone else is playing and start playing the one that actually leads to freedom. True wealth isn't about what you own. It's about what owns you. So here's my challenge. Pick one thing from this video and do it this week. Just one. Open a savings account. Cancel a subscription you don't use. Sell something you don't need. Automate $50 to an investment account. Start small. Start messy. Just start. Because the best kind of rich, it's the kind nobody sees coming. Look, if this shifted your perspective, even a little, hit that subscribe button. Let's build something real together. See you in the next one.